The bar had survived longer than anyone expected. Its sign flickered every few seconds, one letter dimmer than the rest, like it was tired of announcing itself to a town that already knew it by heart. Inside, the air smelled of old wood, spilled beer, and memories that never quite left. The jukebox in the corner still worked, though it only played songs from decades ago, as if it refused to acknowledge time moving forward that IT was almost closing. The bartender wiped the counter slowly, not because it needed it, but because there was nothing else to do. Only 3 people sat inside. An old man asleep near the window, a woman nursing a drink at the far end, and a man sitting alone 2 stools away from her. The man had been coming here for years. Same stool, same drink, same quiet. His name was Ethan. People in town knew him as dependable. The kind of man who fixed broken fences, showed up early to work, and never caused trouble. The kind of man whose life looked steady from the outside and empty from the inside. He wasn't waiting for anyone, at least. That's what he told himself. The woman hadn't planned on coming in. She had driven past the bar twice before finally parking. The town felt smaller than she remembered. Not because it had changed, but because she had. The buildings looked shorter, the streets narrower, the silence heavier. Her name was Clara. She hadn't been back in 17 years. She sat at the bar, ordered a whiskey she didn't usually drink, and stared at the wall like it might explain why she was here. Her coat was still on. She hadn't decided whether she planned to stay. For a while, they didn't speak. Just 2 strangers sharing the same quiet. The jukebox hummed softly. A song about leaving played. One that had been popular back when people still believed leaving meant something better waited on the other side. Ethan noticed her glass was untouched. "Bad drink?" he asked, his voice rough from disuse. She looked at him, surprised, like she hadn't expected anyone to see her. "No," she said, "just remembering how it tastes." He nodded, like that made sense. "This place does that," he said. "Makes things taste different than you remember." She smiled, small, polite, distant. "You come here often?" she asked. "Too often," he replied. "You?" She hesitated. First time in a long time. That should have been the end of it. But something in the way she said long time lingered between them. The bartender turned the lights down slightly. A warning. Closing was coming. Ethan took a sip of his beer. "You passing through?" "Sort of," she said. "I grew up here." He glanced at her again, this time longer. There was something familiar about her eyes. Not recognition, just a feeling. Like seeing a place you dreamed about once, but never visited. "I stayed," he said, not sure why. Most people didn't. "That surprises me," she said softly. "Why?" She looked around the bar. This town always felt like a place people wanted to escape. He smiled, not happily. "Turns out some of us are better at staying than leaving." The jukebox clicked, changed songs. Silence filled the space again. Then she asked the question that mattered. "Do you ever regret it?" Ethan didn't answer right away. "Every day," he said finally. "But not for the reason people think." She turned toward him fully now. "And what reason is that?" He stared into his glass. "Because I didn't leave when I was supposed to." Her fingers tightened around her drink. "When were you supposed to leave?" she asked. He laughed quietly. "Long time ago." She swallowed. "So was I." Something shifted. Not recognition. Not yet. Just tension. They talked more after that. About work. About family. About how time feels different when you come back somewhere you swore you'd never return to. Clara spoke about cities, about noise, about relationships that looked perfect until they collapsed under their own weight. Ethan spoke about routine, about caring for a sick parent, about days that blended together so completely he couldn't remember what year was half the time. Then she said something that made his chest tighten. "I was supposed to leave this town with someone else." His breath caught. "So was I," he said. They looked at each other. The jukebox fell silent. She laughed nervously. "Funny coincidence." "Yeah," he said, though his voice didn't agree. She described the night. Years ago. A plan whispered over cheap beer. A bus ticket bought with borrowed money. A promise made too quickly, but meant completely that Ethan's hands began to shake. "That night," she said slowly, "I waited at the station." His heart pounded. "I waited too," he said. Her eyes searched his face now, really searched. "What was your name back then?" she asked. "Ethan." Her face went pale. He knew before she said it. Clara. The room seemed to tilt. They stared at each other like strangers who had just discovered they shared a past neither of them had survived. You didn't show up, she said, not accusing, just stating a fact that had lived inside her for 17 years. I did, he said quietly. I waited until morning. She shook her head. I waited all night. They both fell silent. 17 years collapsed into a single moment. I thought you'd change your mind, she whispered. I thought you did. And suddenly everything made sense. The town, the leaving, the staying, their lives hadn't just diverged. They had stalled, both of them on opposite sides of the same moment. If this story is hitting something real inside you, if you've ever wondered how different life might be because of one moment, one misunderstanding, take a second right now to like this video and subscribe. Stories like this aren't just entertainment. They're reminders. And the rest of this story changes everything. They talked until the bartender announced last call. They talked about the years in between. Clara spoke about the anger she carried, not toward Ethan, but toward herself for never asking why, for turning one night into a lifetime of assumptions. Ethan spoke about the guilt, about how he stayed because leaving felt like betrayal after his mother fell ill, about how he'd told himself Clara deserved better than waiting for him. I never married, she said quietly. He nodded. Neither did I. They didn't smile. Some truths don't bring comfort, only clarity. When the bartender locked the door, they were the only two left standing. Outside, the night was cold. So, she said, pulling her coat tighter, what now? He thought about all the things he wanted to say, all the years he couldn't give back, all the love that never had a chance to grow because it was abandoned before it could breathe. I don't think this is a reunion, he said carefully. She nodded. No, but I think, he continued, this is an ending we never got. She looked at him, eyes shining. Endings matter, she said. They stood there a moment longer. Then she hugged him. Not like someone returning, but like someone saying goodbye properly for the first time. I'm leaving again tomorrow, she said. I know, he replied. She smiled sadly. I'm glad it was you. So am I. She walked away. Ethan stood outside the bar long after the lights went out. For the first time in years, the town didn't feel like a prison. It felt like a chapter that had finally closed. And somewhere, far down the road, two lives continued. Not together, but no longer haunted by the same unanswered question. Because sometimes love doesn't fail. Sometimes it just arrives too early or too late.